Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So it's Lauren Whitney with another video, and in today's video we are only going to focus on the brows. Just before I filmed this, I did do a tutorial of the makeup look that I'm currently wearing. It is mom friendly, and that's what that video is all about. But today I'm going to do a tutorial on how I do my brows. I tried to do this yesterday. I did not like how my brows turned out, so I think it'll be a lot easier if I do a voiceover. I just want to be quiet and just concentrate on what I'm doing. I don't know about y'all, but I need complete concentration the same way I need when I'm doing my wing eyeliner or lashes or anything like that that requires a steady hand and precision. But I will go ahead and run down the products with you real quick before we jump into the tutorial. I'm going to show you how I do my brows with two types of products. I'm going to show how I do it using a pomade, and I'm going to show how I do them using a pencil. So with the pomade, I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Pomade, and this is in the shade Ebony. For the pencil portion of this, I'm going to use the Wet n Wild Color Icon Kohl eyeliner. Because I'm trying to do the same brow look using two different products, I had to find a pencil that I had that was the same pigmentation and the same darkness of the ebony, and this is the closest thing I had to it. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and jump right into this tutorial. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom y'all in, and we're gonna start with our pomade. You're gonna need an angled brush that's extremely thin, like the thinnest angled brush that you have. Then you're gonna take a spoolie and you're gonna just brush your brows in an upward direction, and you're gonna dip that angled brush into your pomade. Now you're not gonna pick up globs of pomade. Less is more in this case. See here where I'm just wiping it off? You literally just want a residue of pomade. Then you're gonna do very light strokes in the direction of your hair, just filling in the sparse areas. Now I did start right here at the center of my brow, if you noticed. If not, rewind and see where I started. Do not start this at the front of your brow. Most of your product is going to be from the arch of your brow to the tail, so that's why you want to start at the arch. Once I applied all my flicks in an upward motion and I filled in those sparse areas, I'm going to do the same thing going in a downward direction from the arch to the tail, just as I did before. Now I have applied a little bit more product to my brush. I didn't show it here, but I did, and I also rubbed it on the back of my hand because again, you just want a residue of product because this pomade is very heavy. Starting at the arch of my brow, again, I am just going to underline my brow. Then I'm going to do the same thing up top, basically just outlining my shape. Now with the product that's left over on my brush, I did not redip. I am just going to gently underline the front part of my brow. Now that my outline is complete, it's time to fill the brow in. I can't stress to y'all enough how light my strokes are during this entire process. It's very important that you use light strokes and that you're only redipping your brush when you absolutely need it. Continue filling in the sparse areas, concentrating most of your pigment towards the tail and getting lighter and lighter as you get towards the front of your brow. This will create a nice gradient. Right here, I am just taking what's left over on my brush. I did not redip, and I'm just going to try to flick over that underline and just kind of blend it upwards because I don't want it to look like a defined line under the brow. I'd rather it look more like a shadow. Combing through with a spoolie will also help you blend that product. Now moving on to the left side, you're going to give that brow the same comb through you did on the right, and make sure your pencil is very sharp. That's the first thing you need to do before you get started. Now you're going to do the same thing that you did on the right. You're just going to do very light strokes starting at the arch of your brow and working your way towards the tail. Now instead of combing in a downward direction, we are going to just go straight to the underline portion. You are going to very lightly underline the brow and outline it on top to create the same shape you did on the right. I got a little heavy-handed with that outline towards the front, but it's okay. I'm gonna fix it. But first, I'm gonna finish my outline. Now that the outline is complete, you're going to go ahead and start to fill the brow in. Once you're done filling that in, you're going to need to resharpen your pencil because you're going to do a few upward flicks towards the front. Now remember, don't do this too heavy-handed because you want it to look like hair. Taking a clean angled brush, I'm just going to blend out that underline. So as you can see, I've simply just filled in and defined each brow using the two different products. You can see my method. I tried to be kind of similar with the method, but I mean, it's just different whether I'm using a pomade or a pencil. Like with the pomade, you see how I stroked up, and then I also did some strokes in the opposite direction going downward. I tried to do that on this side. Part of the reason I can't do that is because I'm right-handed and this is the left side of my face. So that really doesn't have anything to do with pencil or pomade. It's more so I just can't do that stroke down without being too heavy-handed when I'm doing the opposite side. I don't know, that's just me. But they do look very similar in appearance, which I'm really happy about because I was nervous about using two different products, but I just wanted to show both because I just use both. Like, it just depends on what I have at hand, what's clean, what's ready to go, or just what I'm feeling like when I'm doing my brows. Now we're gonna go ahead and clean them up. I like to use like more of a foundation shade, but just slightly lighter than my skin tone. My makeup is already done and I don't want to have to do like a ton of blending out to get this to look nice and cohesive. So I am going to use the Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation and concealer. So this is a foundation and it's a concealer, and this is in the shade 11 Amber, and this is just, it's supposed to be my shade, but to be honest, y'all, it's really just a little tiny bit lighter than my skin tone. I mean, when I try to use it as concealer, it looks my shade, but if I try to blend it all over my face and use it as a foundation, it's just a little too light. So I'm going to use that to clean up my brows today. I'm just going to take that onto my 10 palette here. And just so y'all know, this is the old candle lid from Bath and Body Works. So if you don't want to buy a palette like this one that I have right here, you can always just use a candle lid. Little life hack there. As you can see, thin and sharpness of my utensils is very, very, very important as far as getting these brows executed. And by the way, if you need to stop at any point and resharpen your pencil before you continue, do that, girl. Like, don't let nobody rush you. Just go ahead and do what you need to do. I'm going to use this e.l.f. eyeliner brush. It's like a smudge brush, so it's flat. So I'm just going to dip into that. I'm not going to get globs and globs of it. I'm just going to get just a little. And I'm going to start using it vertically, cleaning underneath both brows. So the objective here pretty much is to just get everything cleaned up. So I'm just going to take this brush vertically first, and I'm just gonna carve underneath my brow. Now if you want that more, you know, Instagram-y kind of halo effect, just use a lighter concealer. But here I kind of want it to look a little bit more natural, so that's why I used something that was closer to my foundation shade. As you can see, I flip my brush horizontally and I'm not going right up next to the brow at this point. I'm just trying to clean and blend that concealer. I'm just going to repeat that same technique on the other side. Whatever product is left over on my brush, I'm going to use that to clean in between my brows, keeping everything nice and neat. That way, if I'm adding foundation second, for instance, I'm not going to cut off the front of my brow by using a tool that's too big in this area, like a sponge or a domed brush. When cleaning up the top part of my brow, it's easier for me to go in horizontally from the very start rather than doing vertical, then flipping the brush horizontally. That's another thing I want you guys to also take from this. Do whatever hand placements work best and easiest for you to get the cleanest outcome. So if you find that doing something slightly different works for you and will give you the best outcome, then do that. There's really not any rules to it. I'm just showing you guys what works easiest for me. Also notice that I'm still going in with very minimal product. Everything that I've used in this video so far is buildable. It's better to go in with less product and build it up. It'll give you a way more clean outcome. So here's a little trick that I learned from a pro makeup artist. I'm gonna dip into my concealer and wipe off any excess product on the back of my hand. You want it to just be a residue of concealer. I'm gonna lightly blend out the front of my brow, making sure that my brow product is not too heavy towards the front. Now you're not gonna bear down. Just imagine you're combing this through the hair without touching the skin, if that makes sense. Okay, y'all, so now that we have concealed, I am just going to take this small domed Morphe M173 brush. I am going to buff out where I concealed around my brows and make sure that it's blending well with my base that I've already laid down. And I'm just blending the edges of the concealer. I'm not getting anywhere up near where I carved out the brow, and that's already done and blended. So I am just simply getting up next to the edges of the concealer and blending those areas out. And I don't know if you guys prefer to do your brows before or after, but if you prefer to do them after you've done your base, it's never a bad idea to just take your bronzing brush with a little bit of your bronzer and just kind of go around the edges where you previously bronzed, so everything is nice and blended together. Doing makeup tutorials, I don't like to come on here looking completely crazy. I like to have something going for myself, so I will try to sometimes I do my foundation first nowadays because I feel like my face is looking just a little tad bit oily. So I'm gonna take my Sephora Micro Smooth powder on a fluffy Sonia Kouchik brush, and I'm just gonna hit those areas where I see the oil starting to come through. This has nothing to do with my brows, but I just see it on camera and I can't let it ride. I can't let this ride. Like, I'm trying to get y'all to trust me here, and I can't be on here looking like an oil slick. Like, y'all ain't gonna trust nobody that look like that. And it's okay to just kind of tap over the front of your brows just a little bit, because especially when you use the pomade and the Kohl eyeliner, they're kind of waxy, so you don't want them to look too waxy, too oily. I'm going to just give my brows one more comb through. I'm not a brow gel type of girl because I don't even own any. I used to have the e.l.f. brow gel. I also used to have the Wet n Wild brow gel, but I don't know, I just don't really use it. But what you can do is, if you want to set your brows in place and you don't have a brow gel, you can always run a little bit of mascara through your brows. And it's okay if your mascara is black. You can just kind of run it through there if you want to set them in place. Also going easy on towards the front of the brow. You don't want it to be too, you know, You don't want it to be too dark. I can never go through this enough times with my spoolie, so I'm going to take my spoolie one more time and just go over the front again. Oh wow, these look really good. Oh, this is so much better than yesterday. So much better. Alright guys, so it looks like we are done. This is my brow routine for my pomade and for a brow pencil or eyeliner or whatever you choose. I hope that this tutorial was useful. If it was, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already and click that notification bell. And also follow me on Instagram if you don't already do so. It's linked on my end screen. So I will see you guys in my next video. Stay healthy, stay safe, enjoy your families, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.